Hey guys, it's Rachel, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the BH Studio Pro Beauty Sponge. Hey guys, it's Rachel, and today I have a review for you guys on the BH Studio Pro Beauty Sponge. So I will leave the price somewhere on the screen. I believe it's around $5. So I'll leave the annotation of the price on the screen, and today I'm going to be reviewing this sponge for you guys because I want to see if it would be a dupe for the Beauty Blender. So this is the size of the BH Studio Pro Beauty Sponge. As you can see, it's pretty small. It fits in the palm of my hand, and I have pretty small hands. So this is what the BH Studio Pro sponge looks like when it's dry. It does look very small. As you can see, it fits in the palm of my hand, and my hand is pretty tiny. But comparing it to the real Beauty Blender, so this is my Beauty Blender, it's black and dirty, I apologize. The sponges are pretty much the same shape and size, it's just that the BH Studio Pro one is just the fat cousin of the Beauty Blender one, because as you can see, the base is a little bit rounder and wider than the Beauty Blender, but like, I guess height-wise, they are the same height. And so this is how big it gets when it's wet. So if you look at it, it definitely grows a lot when it gets wet. And I think this is the most similar to the Beauty Blender because the dupes of the Beauty Blender I have found, like the Real Techniques one and like those drugstore like Swissco, Rite Aid versions, I feel like they don't grow as much as the Beauty Blender when they get wet. But as you can see, like it almost like doubles, almost triples in size. So here's a size comparison of the Beauty Blender and the BH one when they're wet. As you can see, the BH one is a little bit shorter and the bottom is definitely a lot fatter than the Beauty Blender, but I actually kind of like that. So now talking about the consistency of the sponges, I do feel like the BH Cosmetics one is a lot denser than the Beauty Blender. If I like squish them side by side, this looks so weird, but if I like squish them side by side, I definitely need to use more force to squish this one than the Beauty Blender. So I do feel like the BH Cosmetics one is indeed denser than the Beauty Blender. However, it doesn't hurt to use it because I tried out the Earth Therapeuticals, and I think it's the Swissco version of the Beauty Blender, and when I was using it, no joke, I was like pouncing it on my face and I felt like I was punching myself in the face. Like that's how hard it felt. But this one, even though it's not quite as soft as the Beauty Blender, when I use this sponge, I don't feel like I'm hurting myself. Now, consistency-wise, I will say the Real Techniques sponge is more similar to the Beauty Blender. I don't have any to show you because I threw all of mine out because it has a very similar consistency to the Beauty Blender. However, they changed the shape of the sponge where they basically like cut off the bottom, so it's basically flat. And I don't like that because my favorite part of the Beauty Blender is this flatter, more round side because it really spreads out the product evenly and just covers more surface area, so it's a lot quicker to apply. Hey guys, so the frame probably shifted a little bit because I was editing my video and I realized I forgot two really important key points about the BH sponge, so I just wanted to come on and tell you guys them. So thank God for video editing because I can mention these 2 points to you guys, which I feel like are kind of important. So the first one is that the sponge gives the same exact finish to your foundation as the Beauty Blender, and I think that is the biggest thing about the Beauty Blender is the finish it gives to your foundation. For me personally, it makes all my really matte foundations look more natural, and I think that's what makes the Beauty Blender so great, and it does give the same exact finish to my face as the Beauty Blender. Also, the problem with a lot of the other dupes out there is that the sponge absorbs way more product than the Beauty Blender does. And in my opinion, the BH sponge, which I'm holding right here, does absorb the same amount as the Beauty Blender would. Also, just want to quickly mention that it does actually clean up pretty nicely. I already used this a bunch of times and it still looks pretty much brand new. So I just wanted to mention those couple things. Now back to the regularly scheduled outro. So if you don't care about the shape of your sponge, you just want the same consistency as the Beauty Blender, I would go for the Real Techniques one because that one does have a similar consistency. However, if you want the same shape as the Beauty Blender, and I'm not saying it's hard because it's not, it's just a little bit more dense than the Beauty Blender, but this one definitely is a really great alternative. This is like a quarter of the price of a Beauty Blender. And the only thing I don't know yet is how long it's going to last because I've only had mine for a week. So far it's holding up pretty good. But I know the Real Techniques one would literally shred on me within like the first a few months, while I've had this beauty blender for almost a year and a half now, probably almost 2 years. So I still have to see how long this sponge is going to last me, but it does feel pretty durable. We'll see how it holds up, but when it comes to shape and consistency wise, I do think it would be a really great affordable alternative to the beauty blender. And if you really like the shape of the beauty blender and you don't like the shape of the Real Techniques one, this BH one is definitely the way to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!